What is up, everybody? Welcome to yet another episode of Father Dynasty. I am your fatherly host, Chew, back in the manhole, here to talk a little fatherhood and a little Dynasty fantasy football. Yes, it's been, I think, probably 3 or so weeks. Had the upstairs a bit in disarray. The studio, of course, looks exactly the same. The only thing different, which you can't see, is the wall's a little bit closer to me now. Ate into the quote unquote studio to expand on a different room. But yeah, couldn't quite be in here. Didn't want to get all of the drywall dust and mud and all that nonsense all over my stuff. So moved it to the basement. I'm back here now and I'm ready to roll. And for the moment, I am going solo, but I will say I do have a very special guest joining me in studio a little bit later. They got some prior engagements. Hopefully they'll make it here soon. But for the time being, I think I'll go ahead and let's get rolling with Choose News.
Choose News.
Choose News, yes, indeed. It's been a couple of weeks since I've done Choose News, but the news has not stopped. Just to highlight a couple of things here in the NFL. With the Denver Broncos, we're going into week 5. They are 2-2 in what was widely believed to be the toughest division in the NFL before the season started. There's been a litany of injuries across that entire division. But with Denver specifically, Russell Wilson, the prized possession that they got in the offseason, cost them an arm, a leg, and a couple of firsts. And he has not exactly cooked as he did in Seattle. And of course, the very recent news within the past week of Javonte Williams, star running back, second-year guy out of North Carolina. He is going down with a torn ACL, so he will be out the rest of the year. You hate to see it. And that backfield, while I don't believe it was the top backfield, I would give it top 5 in terms of the talent of having a young Javonte Williams. He was my favorite running back out of that draft class above Travis Etienne. A great bruising style, but again, a guy that with that size that can move that well, can catch the ball as well. So do a little bit of everything. And of course, Melvin Gordon. I know he's not a spring chicken anymore. I know he's not his younger self from his Charger days. But the two of them combined and then additional depth behind that, I think it formed a reasonably formidable backfield when the offense is humming along. And as we've seen thus far, that's not exactly how this has turned out. It's been a bit disappointing for them. Somewhat thankfully, they are still 2-2, though, sitting at 500. Hopefully they can turn it around. But just for a bit of reference here from the fantasy sphere, you've got Russell Wilson, currently quarterback 13 for fantasy. And while that's not horrible, maybe just looking at it on its face, Daniel Jones is QB 14. He is one spot ahead of Daniel Jones. The oft injured, didn't get his 5th-year option of his rookie contract picked up, probably won't be a starting quarterback next year, certainly not for the Giants. That Daniel Jones. And I guess what makes it sincerely ironic is that trade from Russell Wilson going from Seattle to Denver and the number of picks and Noah Fant and I think a defensive lineman that was exchanged. Geno Smith, at the time backup last year to Russell Wilson, who did play a couple of games in his absence, he is now the quarterback 10 for fantasy. And a big reason that Seattle team, why I lost my eliminator or my survivor pool in week 1, as I was probably just going to ride whoever was playing the Seahawks or the Jets throughout the rest of the season. And of course, in week 1, I go ahead and I pick the Broncos to beat the Seahawks. And boy, am I an idiot, because that's not exactly how that happened. So first week, I lost, and I'm out of there. So a bit of a disappointment. But, Geno Smith he's been in the league for, I want to say, almost a decade. He's about 30, 31. He's figuring things out. He's played for a number of different teams, of course, as a backup, following his initial start to his career as the starter for the Jets briefly. And it's pretty incredible. I don't necessarily think that that's indicative of, how the remainder of their careers are going to go by any means. I think it's some growing pains in Denver. I know they have a new head coach. I know the head coach brought in someone to be a in-game consultant or something like that, or strategy. I understand that Nathaniel Hackett has not yet been a head coach at that level, but it seems kind of bizarre after how a couple of things have transpired to, I understand looking for help, but at a certain point, you are the head coach and you need to kind of have a grasp on, like, in those moments, you can't say, hey, I'm not going to use a timeout, but ref, can I consult my in-game consultant real quick? You need to understand the game. And I am by no means saying I'm an expert or anything like that in the game of the NFL, but to become a head coach and to have that kind of weaponry on offense and on defense for the Broncos, certainly a disappointment that it started the way it has. Again, reiterating how difficult that division is, but hoping that they, as a whole, can turn it around. Certainly for Russell Wilson to not made it have seemed to be a mistake to go to Denver. I'm sure his wife's happy living in Denver instead of Seattle. But yeah, that's the Denver Broncos right now.
Cheers, news.
Next up, we go over to Pittsburgh and Kenny Pickett. So he comes in about halfway through week 4 to spell Mitchell Trubisky, whatever he's being called nowadays. And Pickett is now slated to start in week 5. I would have to believe that he's also slated to start the remainder of the season. Well, they probably won't decide that now. I have to think that's what the plan would be. Pickett coming in as a 24-year-old rookie, played a couple of years at Pitt, and a bit of a rough start in week 4. Again, it wasn't a start. He actually played about half the game, but the first play of the game, or pretty darn close to it, threw a pick and ended the game having thrown 3 total picks. But he saved it from a fantasy perspective, rushing for 2 touchdowns. And by saving it, I mean, he ended up getting double digits. I want to say in regular scoring, it was like 13, 14 fantasy points. So nothing incredible by any means. But then again, the man who he was replacing, Mitch Trubisky, I don't think he had a stranglehold on the job. It seemed to be he was doing enough to keep it. And then it was kind of, what was that moment that Pittsburgh kind of decided that he's lost it? Or would we rather let Trubisky hang on to the job? Or would we rather have Pickett get that valuable experience and maybe earn the job throughout the season? They obviously saw what he did in preseason and in camp and that sort of thing. So they know what he is, at least on a practice level or preseason level. But you never know what someone's like until you actually get him in the game, in a real in-season game. And there, of course, is a number of weapons there that Pickett can utilize. One of my favorites, Pat Freiermuth. He's been getting peppered with targets, again, by Trubisky, but now by Pickett. So hoping for the best for Pickett. He was a first-round draft pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers in this year. But we'll see how that goes. I think it's going to be tough sledding for them. And another one, maybe not quite on the level of what the Broncos were in terms of that division, but I think it was thought to be that the AFC North was going to be a reasonably tough division. Not necessarily because of the Steelers. They are 1-3 now, but the remainder of their division is 500. They are all tied for first at 2-2. So I don't necessarily think that Pickett is going to be the guy that's going to step in and give them that division title, division championship. But I do think that he can hopefully have a couple of good fantasy days. And I think it's understood that he is a rookie. He's the probably more useful of two in terms of between he and Trubisky, of learning what Kenny Pickett can be versus knowing what Trubisky is. And that was the whole reason that Trubisky was brought in the first place. People generally knew what Trubisky was. And if you kind of hone that in a little bit and kind of, limited those mistakes, he could, in the right offense, out of Matt Canada offense, be productive, hopefully be efficient, and maybe not win you a game, but hopefully not lose you a game. And how it's gone so far has not quite worked out. So hoping Kenny Pickett can, at a minimum, do better than Trubisky. Regardless, I would say it's Pickett's job throughout the remainder of 2020 season. I will say it is going to be tough sledding, though. So the first 3 of the next couple of opponents are top 5 in sacks. So you've got the Buffalo Bills, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles, which are first in sacks. So I don't remember quite where the Steelers' offensive line ranks in terms of the NFL, but even if they had a, say, top 5, top 10 line, you're going against some of like the top 5 pass rushing groups in the NFL. So regardless, it's going to be a rookie who you could be the most well-composed rookie quarterback in the NFL. It's still going to be tough. And I think he hopefully will not be getting too rattled in his rookie season, because to step into that sort of situation hopefully does not hamper his development. Hopefully it is schemed in a way by the Steelers that he can be productive. He can kind of get in a rhythm. He can get it to his weapons. As I mentioned, there are plenty there in Pittsburgh. And, give him a chance to, flaunt his stuff every now and again, but kind of just let him work within the confines of the offense and not get, beat to shit. I know he's a bigger guy. He can move a little bit. But at the end of the day, they're not going to win the division title this year. That's okay. You do want to win as much as you can, but it's not in the cards for the Steelers this year.
Choose News.
Last but not least, as a part of Choose News here, the Philadelphia Eagles remain the only undefeated team in the NFL. After week 4, it's pretty incredible. I already did believe that they were the best in that division. Seeing what Washington had done, not only with the terrible handling of the new name, the new uniforms, Carson Wentz being the quarterback. I really want Sam Howell to win that job very soon. The Giants, they're doing, again, they're 3-1. So again, doing very well, certainly above 500. I did not think they would be doing that well, but I do love what Dable, the new head coach for the Giants, has done in terms of bringing, I think, a bit of stability to a team that did have some weapons, but I think is reasonably devoid of talent at a number of positions to where it kind of hampers them from being able to kind of take that next step into becoming a consistent winner in the NFL and even in their division, really. But they've had a couple of fortunate games. And again, they're 3-1, but overall, not too strong of a division. Again, their first 4 games, it was the Lions, again, the worst fantasy defense in terms of giving up points and what have you. The Vikings, a pretty solid team. The Washington Commanders, as I mentioned, so they've played them once. They'll play them again at the end of the season. And Jacksonville Jaguars, a bit of an enigmatic team in terms of what are they? Who is Trevor Lawrence? What kind of an identity is Peterson going to make for this team? Christian Kirk being paid all the money he did, how is that going to work out? Thus far, I believe he's a wide receiver 1. I want to say 10th or 11th. So very good. Again, with the Philadelphia Eagles, the defense leads the league in sacks. Offensive-wise, Jalen Hurts is the 3rd fantasy quarterback. You have Miles Sanders, at this point, all forgotten Miles Sanders, 9th in terms of PPR running backs. And you have A.J. Brown, the new acquisition out of Tennessee. He is 9th also in PPR for wide receivers. Devonta Smith, I believe, is top 30. I know he had tough sledding to start the season again with the first game, but has climbed back and done pretty well. So on top of all of this, they have one of the easiest schedules that I have really seen in a good while. With 13 games left, 5 of those games are against teams that are above 500. And it's technically only 3 teams because there's 2 games against the Cowboys, 2 against the Giants, and I want to say the other one is against the Packers. So just running through it here, it's the Cardinals, the Cowboys, bye week, Steelers, Texans, Commanders, Colts, Packers, Titans, Giants, Bears, Cowboys, Saints, and Giants. So that's a very, very easy schedule. They are all but locked to get double-digit wins, and I would very much argue it's going to be a 12-win, 13-win season possibly. And, it all depends on health. A lot of things fall in the correct way. But a number of things have happened for these teams. The Cardinals, again, 2-2, reflective of they have talent, but reflective of how they've done so far. Cowboys 3-1, and essentially on the arm of Cooper Rush and that solid defense as well. Steelers, we already talked about that. Texans and Colts, they tied the first week, and that was just a pitiful game. Washington, we spoke about them. Packers, 3-1. Again, there is a dearth of talent in their wide receiver room in Green Bay, but they've managed to make it work. And again, with a solid defense, with what I believe to be either the top or top three running back rooms there in Green Bay, I think they're doing well. So overall, just kind of looking at that schedule, they've started so strong, and they're going to finish pretty damn strong as well. So I very easily see the Eagles winning that division and either being a top or second in that conference. So very excited for them. And yeah, that will do it for Choose News. Who is it?
It's me.
Oh, Finn. Hey, you. Come here, buddy. How are you doing?
Good.
Oh, I was just waiting for you, bud. How are you?
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. Do you want to wear my headphones?
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Ready?
I love the headphones.
I know you do. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Of course.
Of course. Hey, well, you know what? I know you're Oh, you okay? Here, you want me to wear them? Oh, wait. Do you want to wear them?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Fantastic.
Mhm.
Okay. Hey, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Mhm.
Are you glad to be on?
Yeah.
Perfect. Can I ask you a couple of questions?
What?
Well, I normally ask 3 questions to people, or questions with 3 choices, but I don't know if you have the attention span for that. So can we do 2 instead?
Let's do 4.
That's risky. Let's do 2. All right. So Finn,
Let's do 4.
could you tell me Giants or Packers?
Giants and Packers.
No, you got to pick one.
Packers.
Pickles. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I love Packers.
So pickles. So the pickle Packers. Okay. Paw Patrol or Peppa Pig?
Peppa Pig.
Wow, that's a shocker. That's an upset. I tell you what.
I told you.
Yeah. All right. So Bengals or Ravens?
Bengals and Ravens.
No, you got to pick one, remember?
Bengals.
Bengals. Good choice. Okay. All right, this is a tough one. Mama or Dada?
Mommy and Dada.
Okay, I'll let that one tie. All
And
right.
Finn.
I know, we're family. Okay. Last one. Raiders or Chiefs?
Raiders.
You going Raiders?
Cheetos.
Ooh, wow. You call them cheaters?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I
All
love Cheetos. I love choo-choos.
right, I feel like you were saying a different word there. That's okay.
I would say choo-choos.
Okay, got it. Well, we'll just leave that one at B. So Finn,
Hmm?
I guess we're warmed up. Let's get into it. So Finn, how old are you?
3.
That's 4. Okay, 3. Wait, where's 3? Is that 3? Right here?
Yeah, like this.
Yep, got it. Okay.
Are you
And
3?
I'm more than 3. But do you have any big plans for your birthday? I think you have a birthday coming up.
I'm going to be 4 on my birthday.
Yes, you are. Are you going to go anywhere for your birthday?
Mhm.
What are you going to do? Where are you going to go?
I'm going to have some birthday eggs and
Uh-huh.
mashed potatoes.
You're having birthday cake and mashed potatoes. I thought you wanted to go to Chuck E. Cheese.
I love Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay, I don't know if they have mashed potatoes. Maybe we can bring some homemade stuff. Okay, well, hey, Finn, can you write your name?
Yep.
You can?
F-I-N-N.
Whoa. And what's your whole name?
Finn College Whistle.
Man, put a little emphasis on it. I like that. Okay. Well, hey, I was wondering, do you have what are you going to be for Halloween?
I'm going to be a ghost.
You're going to be a ghost for Halloween?
A spider.
You're going to be a spider or a ghost?
A spider.
A spider. Okay. What do spiders do?
They crawl on the webs like this.
Whoa. Okay.
I love Halloween.
You love Halloween?
Yep.
You do like all the decorations. I know that.
Yeah.
Well, Finn, do you have a bedtime?
Mhm.
You do? When is it?
You.
No, when's your bedtime? Is it pretty soon?
Yep.
It is pretty soon, I know. Well, thank you so much. Well, I like for you to get the last word. You are the guest here. So do you want to say one more thing?
Hmm? What did you say? Love you, Mama.
A little louder? What did you say?
Did you say love you, Mama?
No, did you say it?
No, did you say it? Dada.
What?
Can you say it one more time? Can you say it one more time?
Can you say it one more time?
Poop on your bottom. I love to poop on my bottom.
Thank you, Finn. I really appreciate that. Well, you know what? I think you get to watch one more show, and then it's bedtime.
Can I do the podcast one more time?
You know what? That's all for now, because you have to get some sleep and get ready for preschool tomorrow morning. But you know what? I'd love to have you on again. What do you think? We'll do it again?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Come kiss. Love you, Bug.
I love to poop on your bottom.
I know. Thank you so much. Say bye. Say bye. Wait.
Bye.